So now we're getting into what's up in Minnesota again from the date of our last meeting, September 14th through yesterday. We're going to start off with our updates. So the updates, these are cases I've shown you before that weren't closed that have now closed out. So you're going to see how these cases concluded. So we've got a few of them. So case number 13752-U took place on June 29th of 2024, MA1 in Lakeville. Bill McNeff was working on that one. He witnessed over a dozen high-altitude UFOs with erratic flight patterns. Let's see what Bill found out on this one. Unknown UAV, to complete an unknown UAV, so your typical I shouldn't say extraterrestrial, UFO. The witness took at least 9 videos of various night flights, some in very interesting formations between February 11th and June 29th. These formations taken on February 11th are particularly impressive. The lights showed no FAA-required running lights, unlikely that conventional aircraft flew in these formations. Well, 4 different reports have been filed for the 4 different dates. It's Bill's conclusion that the witness photographed some anomalous objects in this report were given a disposition of unknown UAV. And unknown, should we have an N on there, but that's okay. Well, it's been abducted. Oh my gosh, now we got another abduction on our hands. So, okay, Kathy found that funny, so that's good. So, case number 137570-U took place on June 28th, 2024. A rectangle was seen in Minnetrista. Linda was working on that one. Let's see. So, square object moves. Oh, yeah, slowly in the south wind. Yeah, so completed IFO man-made object. This object is virtually, certainly an aerial advertising sign, disposition IFO man-made object. We've seen a number of these in the past couple of years. If you've been with us for a while, you probably recall seeing either photographs or videos. It looks like a big rectangle or cube flying through the sky, and you don't always see it in the picture, but if you look carefully, if you know the direction that it's going, look up and to the right or up and to the left, you'll see a little dot. That little dot's the airplane that's dragging the advertising sign. So I think, yeah, that's probably because we're seeing those more and more now, and we're seeing the cases come in more and more too. So it's kind of interesting because initially we weren't seeing any of those at all, but they must be doing more advertising now. So case number 138452-U took place on September 13th of 2024 in Bemidji. Saw one moving erratically, then more. Steve Hero was working on this, and he's a beast. He's on these cases. You give Steve a case, he polishes off in no time. I got to take a lesson from Steve. So. Unknown UAV. When he spoke to the witness, he seemed sincere and willing to talk, and he was somewhat familiar with things in the sky from his military background, but he seemed a little hesitant to talk about what he saw in his living room. The first light he saw, which he said was not too far away and quite low in the sky, may have actually been a misidentified small plane. Flight NS, it was a Cessna A185. It is a type of plane commonly used by bush pilots. It approached the airport from the south and landed just before 9 p.m. He lives only a few miles from the airport. And he would have seen this approaching from the south, and it would have been at a very low altitude since it was about to land. The second group of lights that came from both east and west and were moving in a circular motion cannot be explained away so easily. Since they were moving in and out of a circular pattern and then stopped, made a formation for about 5 seconds, that would rule out any type of satellite. So I'd classify this as an unknown UAV. Then Steve goes on to say, I have no comment or explanation as to what he saw or what he saw or thought he saw in his living room, other than the fact that it seemed to really upset him and cause him to lose sleep that night. So what's that about? So I did go back and go through the entire case to see what that's about. So what had happened was after the sighting, the witness was in his bathroom. He was washing his hands, and he heard his cat either like really growling or howling or hissing at something. And he walked out to see what the commotion was. And he said he saw something like a limb slide down down behind his couch, is how he described it. And I guess when Steve pressed him and said, what do you mean a limb? What did you see? Like a limb slid down behind your couch? He said it looked like a foot, which I thought was really odd. You see a foot sliding down behind your couch. And I guess he went to check to see what was behind the couch. He didn't see anything back there. So, but it really upset him, and he lost sleep that night because of this foot that he saw slide behind his couch. So, yeah, so it's hard to say what that was. If could be any number of things, but yeah, it's hard to really determine what that quote unquote foot was or limb was that was slipping behind the couch. So that's our update. So now we're looking at all new cases. So we got 9 cases submitted. One's an ERT, so I can't show you the ERT case, but I can show you stuff on the other 8. So the submission date range, like everything else, was from our date of our last meeting through yesterday, but the date range of the sightings was from September 22nd, 2016 through 10/2/2024. So it's got a nice big spread. We've seen older cases, but I always like seeing some historical stuff coming in. There's no cases of interest this month. No case of interest. We're going to look at 2 spheres, 1 oval, 1's unknown, 2 triangle. I think the unknown might be the ERT case. 1 had no shape listed, 1 was star-like, and 1 cylinder. Valet classification. So valet classification, that's kind of how we categorize the different sightings that we see. named after Jacques Vallée, who worked with J. Allen Hynek in Project Blue Book. So we're going to see some, I'm going to tell you what these classifications are. We're going to see two AN1s. So AN stands for anomaly. So two anomalies of the first kind. MUFON defines an AN1 as anomalies that do not have lasting physical effects, such as amorphous lights or unexplained explosions. We're going to see two cases that are classified that way. One AN4, so that's an anomaly of the fourth kind. I think that might be our ERT case, so we're not going to see any on that, but I'll tell you the definition for an AN4 is anomalous reports in which witnesses experience personal interaction with entities in the reality of the entities themselves. They include near-death experiences, religious miracles, and visions, and many cases of out-of-body experiences. And I think that's the ERT case, so we're not going to see that one, but we got that came in. So one CE1, so CE is a close encounter, so one close encounter of the first kind. MUFON defines that as a class of objects seen on the ground or at a short distance to the observer. So close encounter of the first kind. Two FB1, so FB is a flyby, so two flybys of the first kind. MUFON defines a flyby as simple sighting of a UFO flying by in the sky. This is the category most frequently reported. And let's see, two of those. We're going to see three MA1s. So MA, that's maneuver. So three maneuvers of the first kind. So the MA1 is defined as gathers those UFO observations that involve an object with a discontinuous trajectory, such as a drop, a maneuver, or a loop. So those we're going to see those cases, except for the ERT one. Right now, let's just jump right in. We got videos, we got photographs, so it should be good. Kind of some colorful photographs too, so, and some couple good pictures. So case number 138523-U took place on 9/22/2016, so right off the bat with our old one. At 4:06 a.m., a triangle was seen, AN1, so anomaly of the first kind, in Maple Grove. Triangular shaped aircraft. I am the author. This is a strange case, so I'll just read this is an entire comment. I am the author of the Practical Manual Guide, How to Spot UFO, you can find on Amazon. Lots of encounters, and I wrote step-by-step how to experience UFO. My guide is based on empirical, repeated evidence and data. In that guide, I do not share my specific experiments, and certain information is left out due to recognizing the responsibility of ability to influence someone going through taking action, and I am conscious about this fact, and therefore I am introducing this guide to the general public. So this is I almost don't know what to make of this case, because it's not a sighting, or at least this part's not a sighting. It's kind of a promo for his book, because this was his detailed description. But when I looked at his case and all the stuff he filled out, the way he filled it out sounds like there was a sighting, but he doesn't talk about it in his detailed description. So Bill's working on it, and Bill, I'm sure, is going to interview him. Hopefully, if there is an actual sighting there, Bill will be able to draw that out. We'll get some data. But as far as what he wrote in his detailed description, that's exactly what he wrote. That's the entirety of it, which is more just a promotion of his book. So it's not really, the description really isn't of a sighting. So it's kind of a strange one. So once Bill completes this one, we'll revisit it and see what his conclusion is. Case number 138553-U took place on 9/14/2024 at 10:47 p.m. A triangle was seen, MA1, so maneuver of the first kind, in Fridley. Flashing green light, then speeds away. My wife let the dog outside. Those dogs, I'm telling you, we get more UFO sightings because you got to let the dog outside. I always chuckle when I see those. It's so common. Well, I shouldn't say common, but it's a recurring theme. So out of the corner of her eye, she saw something flashing. At first, we thought it was a plane, but it was not moving, and there was no sound. I took my phone, and I started recording what it was, and then tried to zoom in to see if I could get a better look at it. Once I zoomed in, it quickly took off to the right and did not come out the other side of the trees. Steve Heroes completed it, and so this is the video. And now you see it. Just flash now, flash
back up. No.
And he'll zoom in on it too, so you get a better look at it. I mean, it's for what you can tell, but
it's not moving at all. Well, maybe there's a tower there or something.
No.
We would have seen it.
That a million times before.
And see here, when I see it, it almost looks like a pie shape, but it's not always in the same orientation, which I thought was odd. There, the orientation is consistent. But I thought I saw the orientation shift or rotate at one point. There it goes.
Hell,
Yeah, that's weird.
did you see how fast that thing took off?
And he doesn't catch up to it on this side either. So he doesn't find it again. So
What the
there's
hell
a
was that?
I don't know.
there's a little bit left on the 25 seconds left. He doesn't find it again. So I'm just going to cut this off for
Did you
now.
see?
But let's see what Steve determined with this. So a completed IFO man-made objects. The couple was eager to share their experience and were curious about what they saw. The flashing green light looks like FAA regulation navigation lights, which have to be on one side of the craft, which means that the craft will be moving to the right. That is exactly what it did in the video when it began to move. Since the light was stationary for a while, that would rule out most conventional aircraft except a helicopter. Since there was no sound that would rule out a helicopter, they did mention that they thought that the object was rather close. Its rapid acceleration from its stationary position is also characteristic of a drone. Therefore, I'd classify the case as IFO man-made. So thank you, Steve, for that. Drone, interesting. Yeah, thank you for that. And case number 138567-U took place on 9/14/2024 at 11:30 p.m. Star-like object was seen. AN1 anomaly of the first kind in Caledonia, which is in Houston County. Light orb appearing and fading, moving horizontally. So here's just a segment of what they wrote. I suddenly noticed a stationary bright light orb in the sky above the horizon that I did not see previously in the evening. Glows in the sky for a few moments before fading out. I bring the sighting to my friend's attention. The light orbs fades, reappears in the same position, and begins to move steadily to the left in a straight line. It fades away while moving. 15 seconds pass, and the light orb reappears on the right of its original position. It glows, pulsates, hovers in this position for a few seconds before fading out of sight. Witness number 2 claims they could see two smaller orbs rotating around the original object. Now, there's so I think there's a picture for this, and it's an animation. So I want to stress that this is an animation because he says in the report it's an animation. So he took a picture that he took earlier in the day before this thing happened. Then he used that to make animation because if you didn't know it was an animation, you might not realize that it's an animation and not the actual sighting. So I'm going to show you both the picture and the animation. We'll go to Steve's conclusion after that. But I think the picture's up first. So I think this picture, him just showing the location that we're at. Him from the location, and we're gonna take a look at that video because it is an interesting video. Good animation. I was really impressed by the animation of that. So here's so you see the little, and it just went out. You'll see it come back again. It flares up a little bit and moves. It kind of looks like a lens flare to agree, but and it's gonna come back again, I believe. You can kind of see little things orbiting it. The three witnesses, only one saw the little orbiting things. The other two did not see that. So, but yeah, really convincing. It doesn't strike me as animation at all when I look at it. So it's good that he told us that, so that I know that's his animation. So okay, so Steve says I spoke with the first two witnesses, and they both agree that the animation is pretty accurate. After checking the Heavens Above website, I thought that maybe looking at the ISS because it was the brightest object in that general area of the sky at the time. But ISS travels from west to east, and the second time they saw it, it was further to the west when it should have been further to the east if it was the ISS. Also, the first witness said that he does a lot of sky watching. He said that it definitely did not look like the ISS. The second witness said he thought he saw two other orbs when the object reappeared to the right of it, of where it was seen, but he admits that he was intoxicated at the time. The first witness said that the other two witnesses were almost asleep, so they were not interviewed. It's slightly possible that what they saw was the ISS and another nearby satellite that passed out of the Earth's shadow at almost the same time and became visible. But since the witness is familiar with what the ISS looks like, I'm going to classify the case as unknown UAV. So thank you, Steve, for that. Thank you. So very cool. Case number 138640. Took place on December 27, 2022 at 7 a.m. A sphere was seen, MA1, so maneuver of the first kind, in Scott County. All the witnesses said was orb. This is their full detailed description. Bright orb observed going into cloud. Jared was working on this one, and Jared completed it. So let's see. I don't know. Do I have pictures or videos on this? Let's see what I got. So see video. Let's go to the video. Age 6. There you can see it. Dead ahead. Yep, and it's gone. I don't think it comes back. I don't think we see it again. And there's oh yes, quite a bit. There's almost more than 45 seconds left. But we don't see it again. So that's the entire. So I'm gonna stop this one because we want to make sure we're moving along because we want to make sure we get to Kenny. So completed IFO man-made object. So he put a lot of stuff in here. So because Jared's very detail oriented, very thorough. So here's just a segment of what he said. Um, After reviewing the video and speaking to the witness, I cannot for certain or with a 90% probability call this object an unknown UAV. However, with an 80 to 85% probability, I believe the witness saw an aircraft taking off from Flying Cloud Airport, KFCM. The bright light seen would be consistent with either the tail navigation light, the tail logo lights, or a combination of both lights together. FAA requires the navigation lights to be on at any time the sun is down. Logo lights are normally on at the same time. I did try to look up. So yeah, I tried to look up flights using flightradar24.com. However, Jared's account only goes back 1 year, therefore he cannot see the exact date time. If another FI has an account that goes back further, please contact Jared so we can rule out an aircraft. It could be possible the sun was reflecting off the aircraft. However, the object appears white, whereas if it were the sun reflection, it should have been an orange hue due to the sun being very low on the horizon. Did not see sun and reflecting off the bottom of the clouds where the object was. Therefore, I can rule out sun glint. So pending any more information on the aircraft patterns, date, and time, ruling the case as an IFO man-made object. So that's that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of conservative, but I think the conclusion makes a lot of sense. So, and I think that's a really good point to stress too. When our cases are closed or completed, they're never really closed. We'll always be willing to take more information on cases. And if we get more information that contradicts our conclusion, we'll always change the conclusion. We follow the data, we follow the information. We don't go, well, this is what we said it was, so we're sticking to it. No, we'll stick to what the evidence shows, even if new evidence comes in. So thank you, Jared, for your work on that. Case number 138686-U took place on 9/30/2024, 8:10 p.m. The shape was unknown. Classification FB1, so it's something just flying by in Savage. A strange flashing white light only, no sound. Didn't appear to be a normal commercial plane, military maybe. And then, so yeah, I tried to narrate what I saw within the video with time details. And then the second video, which was contiguous, a plane flew by for comparison. Bill McNeff is working on it. It's in progress. So here's the deal on this. So here's what I'm going to do. So he sent 2 videos. The videos are HVEC, which is like high volume efficiency, some codecs or something like that. I don't have the HVEC codecs on my computer, so I can't show the video. I could play the audio for you, but you basically see a black screen with some audio. So the codex is really cheap to buy, so I got to buy that codex to get it in there so I can show them. But I think I'm going to pass on the videos this time because you're only going to get the sound. And maybe I'll try to remember when when this case is completed, maybe we'll show the videos again once I get that codex in there and can show that. So I think that's what we're going to do, especially since we want to make sure we're allotting time for our break and getting Ken on as soon as we can. So 2 videos, going to show them to you on when the case is complete, I think. Case number 138703-U took place on 9/30/2024, 8 p.m. A sphere was seen, FB1, so flyby of the first kind in Plymouth. Eyes see bright white sphere slightly pulsating. Zoom and enlarge on phone video pulsating disco ball. Saw giant pulsating white spheres move across sky 4,000 and 6,000 feet up, but could also see color shifts with naked eye. When zoom in on sphere and enlarge, you're pulsating disco ball of colors, and when you see screenshots of orb, always different color and pulsates, always different shape. So you can't see sphere, but different shapes. Saw and caught on video also 2 nights ago, with better look, and then in it multi-pulsing sphere with like tentacles are all around the sphere. Remind me of Tesla's electricity balls. You've seen those Tesla balls where the lightning's coming all off them, but with random colors and pulsations. Made no sound, no wings, no FAA regulation, alternating flashing lights. When it went over me and toward horizon, should have been able to view because it's so bright, but it just blinked out. So Steve Hero is working on this. It's in progress. This is the one, I think we've got 3 videos and a bunch of pictures on this. So we'll go with the videos and the picture. Yeah, I got 3 videos on this one. So I'm going to see one's up first. And it may just look like a dot on a black screen, but if you look, it's kind of grainy, and you will kind of see some trees and stuff. So it's not just simply, so there's like a star or something that's stationary, so you can see the movement of it here. So you do see the movement. And actually the pictures are kind of more interesting than the videos, but I'll show you. There you get the green as the different pulsing colors coming in. And you do kind of see trees there, so you can kind of get the sense of the motion of the object. So, okay, so that's done. Kathy is still seeing the video player. Okay, so now here's the second one. Okay. And there's, I think, that same stationary light we saw before. So it does seem to actually be moving. And as I look at that, just as it is, it's moving like a satellite. To me, that strikes me as satellite motion. Not saying that's what it is, but it does have that kind of satellite feel where you see the satellites kind of going down like that. I'm not sure if that's a power line or something there, but okay. And the third one. So Kathy, tell me, are you seeing the video? Just nod your head. Seeing the video. Okay, cool. See, the last time it was moving down, now it's moving up, and I'm kind of going, is it really doing that, or is the camera turned a different way? You know what I mean? So, but there's another star again. I'm assuming it's a star. There, it's going to change direction unless seem to change direction. That may or may not be the case. So, okay, now we've got the colorful pictures, the pretty pictures. So now our pretty pictures. So these are all. I think he said he grabbed screenshots of what from his videos. So interesting. It's very lots of straight lines and they're very squarish. I think it's like 7 pictures. I'm just gonna run through these pictures real quick because we want to take our break and we want to get Kenny out here so Kenny can share his fantastic, incredible experiences with us. Not a lot of close up, but he realized it was far away, and I think he's taking screenshots off his videos, what he said he was doing. So that might be the last one. So okay. So once that is completed, we'll revisit that one and we'll tell you what we found out on that. So case number 138733-U took place on 10/2/2024 at 9:02 p.m. An oval was seen, close encounter of the first kind in Afton. So circular black shape, 16 or more in size, glowing and projecting, then flashed and disappeared. Here's just a segment of what he wrote. As I turned down my driveway, I was engulfed in a white, super bright beam. I was so freaked out, I looked up to see what it could be, and just above my truck was a black circular object looking like metal maybe, but on its edge was a halo or ring of lights if you wrapped a light strip around it. Then there was a really bright flash and it was gone entirely. I was scared and freaked out. No sound, no flight path, just blinked out of existence. Only thing that happened was my Bluetooth music stopped. The car worked fine. No heater vibration. It seemed like it was 6 feet above me and maybe 16 feet wide, but I'm not sure. So Jared is working on that right now. When we complete that one, we'll revisit it and tell you what Jared finds. And I don't know if we've got any pictures or anything on this. No pictures on that one. So case number 138855-U is our last one we're going to be looking at. I think we've got some either videos or pictures on this one too. So 9/28/2024 at 3:15 p.m. a cylinder was seen in St. Michael performing an MA1, a maneuver of the first kind, cylinder shaped. Writes, observed object for about 10 minutes or longer, appeared to be slowly spinning towards the end of the sighting object, straightened and started moving faster in a straight line. Lost sight when it went behind a tree. Witness 2 was observing object from a different location on property, and said object vanished shortly after straightening out and gaining speed. I would have dismissed this as some sort of weather balloon, but feel it was something else since it started to speed up and travel in a straight line. So this came in yesterday. So the default being assigned to me. So it's probably going to get assigned to another field investigator because I got like 4 cases I'm juggling right now. But there were, I think, pictures and videos on this one. So let's see, 855. Let's see what we got. Oh, this, or maybe it's all just pictures. So I think it's all just pictures on this one. We'll find out though if I got videos on this. And I look at that, I go, is it a cylinder or is it something moving? But if he says it was a cylinder, and yeah, the different orientation would account for, he said it was like it was spinning or rotating or something like that. So, oh, that was it. So that's what's up in Minnesota. So that is it. So thank you all.